So my name is Jack Blauert. It's actually John, but I've always gone by the nickname Jack, and everyone here at the ESL knows me as Jack. But yeah, I grew up in a small suburb south of Chicago. Came here for my PhD from my bachelor's degree. And so I just finished up my first year here at the ESL. I'm working under Dr. Asmina Chiordi. We're developing technology for wearable and implantable medical devices and kind of like the RF and electromagnetic side of those kinds of technologies. So yeah, it's been a great first year here so far. You know, there's all sorts of definitions going on. It's a very emerging area, so there aren't really quite as many direct standards on the terms yet. But specifically what I kind of am working on is more or less developing kind of the link between implants and wearables. So, there's implanted medical devices are kind of an emerging market where we have things like, glucometers, neuro potential acquisition things, so implanted medical devices for those. Also, you would have technologies like pacemakers. And so where I come in is basically designing kind of the antennas that are talking between the wearable devices, so you'd be able to pick up wirelessly, the information from those implanted sensors, and in the future possibly looking at doing power harvesting or actuation of the medical devices themselves. So, yeah, so I've done a few internships in my undergrad, but the summer before I came to the ElectroScience lab, and then this previous summer, so 2017 and 2018 summers, I was interning with Texas Instruments Kilby Labs. So Kilby Labs kind of explores the areas outside of TI, Texas Instruments' traditional business model. So kind of looking at next generation projects that are kind of outside of the traditional R&D scope of the industry. So they do a lot of stuff directly with their customers, coming up with these kinds of game-changing ideas that they're really trying to hope to bring to market.
Do you ever get anybody ask if you work on calculators?
Oh, that is the first thing. I mean, as embarrassing as this is, I was a freshman going up to TI at the career fair talking about calculators, where they kind of were polite and said, come back to us when you have a bit more experience. But I was definitely that guy. It was actually a great transition from undergrad to grad school, especially when I went there in the summer of 2017. Specifically, I really learned how to use a lot of the EM software. So using HFSS, which is what we use here at the ESL a lot. And then this summer in 2018, it was, as opposed to doing mostly simulation stuff like I did the previous internship, I was able to kind of dive into designing for manufacturing. So I picked up a lot of designing the printed circuit boards and making sure that they have the electromagnetic specs and things like that. So kind of more on the realistic, get your hands on things kind of design. So it was really nice. I think that TI, specifically in Kilby Labs, they give you a lot of really challenging and engaging work, and it made the experience very rewarding in the sense that I was given problems I didn't think I could solve, but I was given a lot of help and assistance from a lot of different people to be able to go ahead and solve these really complicated problems. And coming back to the ElectroScience lab, I feel like I've developed new skills that'll be useful for my research, which is really starting to take off. We've submitted 2 papers so far, and we're kind of developing some basically brand new antennas that the world's never seen before. And I think that I'm going to ride that technology for most of my PhD and see what kind of new improvements we can make to wearable and implantable technologies with this kind of new novel antenna designs that we're working on. So I'll probably be done with the PhD. Things are moving very quickly. I have an awesome advisor who's going to be able to get me out of here soon. But yeah, I mean, either going into industry or going into academia are the 2 main options right now. The main advice that I would give is to be bold. You have to have really direct and honest discussions with your supervisor about what you know, what you don't know, and how to bridge the gap between the two. Looking to the outside resources and people who may not be directly tied to your business group, but learning about what the company does, what their roles are within the company, and kind of trying to branch yourself out as an intern and take on more responsibilities that you were given, and doing the best with what you got and learning along the way.
You like that calculator question?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that is.
I had to.
Oh yeah, like, and